rewrite my story again.
June, say it for me one time.
Ooh.
I'm available for change.
Change.
My life rearranged.
Yes, sir.
You can write my story again.
All right, Tri-City, here we go.
I'm available for change. I'm willing to let you do what you want to do. Write my story. Been hurt, been broken, been bruised. But here I will,
I
Lord.
present myself to you.
You can write my story again.
I'm an open book for you, Jesus. Change me, Jesus. Let the pain purpose. You can write my story. Write it again, Jesus.
It's all a part of my destiny.
And my future is secure in you. Write it all over again. Hey. And you can.
It ain't over.
It ain't over. You can do it all over again. You're the God of the rewrite.
I'm ready to move on to the next chapter of my life. God, take your pen and rewrite my story. Hey. Thank you, Lord, for the rewrite.
Keep on talking. Keep on talking. Oh yeah. Keep on talking. Yeah. I wanna know what you're saying to me. I'll listen close when you speak to me. I need your love all over me until the end of time. Yeah. To have you so close to me feels like I'm supposed to be so special today. No one could ever make me feel this way. I never have to wonder why when things don't go my way. I know that he is changing things to put them in my favor. I'm learning not to question where he leads me. I will always follow. I put my faith in him, the one who died to set me free. Speak to my heart. My heart, my heart. Speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. Feel your presence more. I know it's real. You know I feel it every day. Your love for me. I need to know which way to go. Please show me. With a hush in my ear and a feeling in my heart that's real. I'm emotional sometimes, living day to day. Only his mercies I see, even through the pain. Hey, it's so important to me. You help me see the way. Yeah, I hear you deep inside my heart. Keep the trust today. Hey, I need you to speak. Yeah, speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. Lord, I need you to speak to me. Yeah, speak to my heart. Speak to me. Yeah, I can't take another day without the feeling of your love. When you talk to my spirit, you know I can hear it clearly, hear it clearly. I wanna get to a place in you and trust you for every move I make. I gotta hear my heart.
in your warm embrace. Yeah, my Father, I'm grateful that you call me your own. Imperfect, I've tried and tried to do it alone. Yeah, but I'll never stop chasing after you. Oh, no, yeah. But as long as the sun rises, I'll keep on running, running. You have the final word. All I see is you. Yeah. You're bigger than any situation. Even when I thought it was over, yeah. You came and wrapped me in your arms. You wrapped me in your warm embrace. When the storms keep raging on, I close my eyes, cause that's the way I can hear your voice. And I shut my mind from all the troubles that just may come. Yeah. And I trust your word, cause that's the way I keep holding on and on. Oh, but as long as the sun rises, as long as the sun rises, I'll keep on running, running. You have the final word. Oh, all I see is you. Yeah. You're bigger than any situation. Even when I thought it was over, yeah. You came and wrapped me in your arms. You wrapped me in your warm embrace. I don't have to cry no more. Don't have to cry no more. You've made me whole again. You've made me whole again. I don't have to cry no more. Don't have to cry. You wrap me in your arms. You wrap me in your warm embrace. All I see is you. Yeah. You're bigger than any situation. Even when I thought it was over, yeah. You came and wrapped me in your arms. You wrapped me in your warm embrace. All I see is you, oh God, only you. You're bigger than any situation. Bigger than any situation. Even when I thought it was over, yeah. You came and wrapped me in your arms. You wrapped me in your warm embrace. Don't have to cry no more. Don't have to cry no more. You made me whole again. You made me whole again. I don't have to cry no more. Don't have to cry no more. Yeah, you wrap me in your warm embrace.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
Good afternoon and welcome once again to Ask Elaine. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to the show. If you've tuned in on AM, FM, or you're right here on the Glory Live, we want to welcome you here. We know you could be doing some other things, but we're glad that you've joined us and you've come into the studio to get smarter. We want to welcome Hildred Jones. Good afternoon to you. And Faye Alexander, who have already joined us. And we just want to thank all of you for tuning in on this beautiful Wednesday. It is beautiful outside. We have to appreciate these days, these beautiful days that we have, because some are not so beautiful. I want to thank all of you who take the time each week to let us know that you enjoy the program, that you enjoy the content. We have two special guests on the way, and they are our two always late folks. However, once they get here, they bring it. They really bring it. One is none other than my boyfriend, Senator Lucas, who will be sworn in the second week of January and will start his 50th year representing us in the Georgia State Legislature. Um, Served a long, long time in our Georgia State, the House, and is now serving in the Senate. He will be sworn in along with a nice group of local folks who won election. And between now and the time, the second week in January, when they go up to be sworn in, we're going to try and have them to come in and to thank you for your support in the election. Our other guest is none other than Herbert Denard. And we sometimes forget that Herbert is a former water board member. And I've got to pick his brain since I'm going to be sworn in tomorrow, y'all, 11 o'clock at the Douglas Theater. So you're all welcome to come. As a matter of fact, everybody who's on here and those who are faithful listeners to Ask Elaine, we sure want you to be there at 11 o'clock tomorrow for the swearing in ceremony. And then right after that, we will go into the annex there at the Douglas for some something tea
17.
was a nice reception.
Very good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so we want to see you there tomorrow. We see our guest. One of our guests has shown up, Mr. Herbert Denard, and we expect him to be there taking pictures as he usually does.
I definitely would be. I would miss it for nothing in the
Well,
world.
we really appreciate.
I brought somebody with me. You know Harold Harvey. Harold
I
Michael.
think I do. I think I do.
He wrote a bad book about making.
Harold Harvey, you need to come on over and take the mic over there. Now, the senator, your fellow Tuskegee classmate, is going to come in here on two wheels in just in a few minutes. But I'm glad that Herbert, who takes it upon himself to just bring wonderful people in as guests, but we are just so happy to have you here. Those of you who don't know this gentleman, you want to go ahead and introduce? You want to go ahead and introduce him? Oh, your headphones. Yeah, you need your headphones too.
Headphones on.
Okay, and you'll
Headphones
speak into
on.
those microphones so everybody can hear you. Introduce this other special guest and tell us why he made a special trip other than his mom and brother are here and auntie. But tell us why he's here.
Harold Michael Harvey has been an author of many books. Very intelligent guy. Those who don't know it, go to Bethel CME Church. He's written how many books, Harold?
7.
7 books.
And the last book he is about the first 5 black council members, I think it was, that got elected, and the history of them and some of the things that happened. And the senator, he was a state representative then, who made it possible. He and Billy Randall grew up the districts.
because you know there's some folks who think we've always had black elected
No.
officials. It's
David
not
Lucas,
true, y'all.
David Lucas and Billy Randall.
Prior to what 70,
1975, excuse me, 1974, we had state
right,
representatives. In
right,
1975, had members on city council.
right, and it was through the work of
Uh,
those of us sending some people to Atlanta who could introduce legislation and get the votes necessary to pass the law that divided this community up so you could elect people that look like the different people who reside in the community.
that's right, and you know,
That book sounds really interesting.
I think you like the part
I,
of the senator because
I'm
I go
looking forward.
I go all the way back to high school with Senator Lucas. Give his background from high school and football and his football leg sports at Tuskegee. And you know, I remember one day David and Gerald and I were sitting on the patio outside of the Tompkins Hall one afternoon, about this time of year. And we were just daydreaming, dreaming about what we were going to do when we got out of school. David said he was going to come back home and run for public office. We thought, well, maybe that's a little far fetched for political science majors, but that's what he said he was going to do. And he, I think, probably is the longest serving member in the General Assembly in quite some time.
He is. He will start, and then we're talking about that. He's going to be sworn in the second Monday in January. That's when the whole group will be sworn in. But he will start his 50th year representing us in Atlanta, which is a real feat. And it hadn't been easy. I can tell you, it's not easy being a black elected official. As you know, it's not easy being a community activist.
That's so true.
If you're not scared.
But David got back here in Macon and ran for office because they were going to have some elected officials here. Billy Randall ran for one seat and David ran for the other seat. David had no opposition.
That's right.
Yes, he did. He had a guy that worked at the railroad.
Yeah, there was opposition.
He won, and then Billy Randall ran against Tom Jackson.
Nobody was on the ballot though against David. There may have been some
The
talk.
guy dropped out.
Yeah,
the guy dropped out.
David was on the ballot by himself.
But because the guy that worked at the railroad was running, and just before qualifying, he dropped out. But Billy Randall was running against Tom Jackson.
Yeah,
and that was, and when once they got in office, they decided that black elected, they should have drawn up some districts so black people could be elected, because we couldn't beat nobody, because every time they had an election, white people was in the majority and we lost. And so when David got there, him and Billy Randall, they put some positions down so the water authority could run. They had the county commissioners running, and they had city councilmen running. I don't know what order it was, but
the city came first.
City came first.
City came first, and when they drew the line, it was hoped that we would get at least two members, two black people on the city council. We ended up with 5. And so I go through that entire history of what happened the summer of '75. But actually, I started the book in 1823 with the founding of the city, and we talk about the status of black people in 1823 in this town, and we were considered chattel. We could be bought and sold, and it was improbable to think that anybody in that status would ever become an elected official in Macon. Now, during Reconstruction, we did have some people. We had Jefferson Long, who spent about 4 weeks in the United States House of Representatives.
Yeah, they threw him out.
Well, I think he had an agreement that he was only going to stay. He finished out a term, and that was the understanding when he went in. That was the research I found when I was writing my book. And then, of course, on the state level, we had Henry McNeil Turner, who represented us in the state house. They threw him out at the point of a gun. And so we don't get any more from Macon and Bibb County. we don't get another representative until David Lucas and Billy
Billy
Randall
Randall.
go in. I believe it's 1974 or two. Yeah, 1974
74.
was when the election was. I think they was
Yeah.
sworn in 75.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so it's I try to incorporate all of those time periods, and then as I had concluded my research, I ran into Herbert Denard and Henry Ficklin, and they
Uh-huh.
said you really got to talk about what led up to this in the 1960s and the early part of the 1970s, the civil unrest and the work that black people and organizations were doing in this town,
Uh-huh.
trying to get recognition, trying to get things for our communities, and we're not getting them. And so I went back and we did the research and we talked about all of that period. And we talked about you and your work in the Hope campaign. Um,
Oh,
It's
because
a good book.
yeah.
that was instrumental too. First time black person to run for mayor making.
Yeah.
And so I'm in town today. If I can get to them, I'm in town today because
Uh-huh.
the Middle Georgia Regional African American History Committee over at the library has invited me to the library on Washington Street to present my book, and I'll be there at 4 o'clock this
Oh
afternoon.
my. So y'all, this is the place to be if you want to know
Absolutely.
what's going on in Macon. You see how news just comes to us, how what's going on just just comes, and we just appreciate you so much. This is so interesting. And what we've got to do, Herbert, is 2025, we've got to make that the year in Macon where we um, have a rebirth of history and the fact that Black history is very important. And our children don't even know. They don't know what's going on because a lot of us don't know. So we got to kind of rekindle that excitement and that enthusiasm for our history because that's one of the things that's going to help us to survive. Because we, believe me, folks, we've been talking about this a while. We are all in trouble. And if anybody tries to tell you that we are not in trouble, then they're telling you a pack of lies because everybody, and I want to tell you this, those folks that think that this negative is not going to impact them, uh, we just need to tell you, we need to tell you that this is not. Are you leaving us, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I've got to get to the library.
Oh, okay.
Go
Do
sit
get
down
my-
and take pictures.
Do give my regards to David.
We'll do that. See, this is stuff on the move. This is great. And Mrs. Harvey, come on back so we can get a picture. It is just so great to have you come in, and we'll get this picture, and then we're gonna get your picture as well. Go ahead, Herbert.
I got it.
See, we're just taking pictures and everything. Everything happens on Ask Elaine. Everything. We are just so happy. Thank you so much, Herbert, for bringing them by here. And they have got to get to the library because that was a previously set appointment. And that is just wonderful. I wish that I might be able to sneak over there because the show goes off at 4 o'clock.
Come on over.
So I think that I will.
Anybody
the
who's listening,
interesting thing about the whole thing is David and Billy Randall set it up once they got in office, and the water authority, the county commissioner, and the city council made it possible so
Right.
blacks could run from a district that the majority was black in.
and-
Right.
Before then, all the districts they had here was majority whites, and blacks didn't have a chance.
They were elected
that-
countywide.
that's
so
true.
Everything.
that
Some
was
of the
very
people-
important. But I need to say this because nobody ever recognizes this. It was good that we had those elected officials, but things do not change in this town until Herbert Denard organizes this march in 1979. That's when things began to
Yeah.
really happen.
Yeah.
When jobs
Yeah.
began to open up in the
You're
city,
right.
It was
You're
when
Henry.
right.
jobs began to open up
But
car
that was a
dealerships and
time when
banks,
people were not scared to
get out
mount a
there.
campaign against the evil
That's right.
and the inequality. And what we've got to do is to regroup and understand that power concedes
Nothing
nothing
without
without a
a demand.
demand.
It never
Never
did.
has,
It
never
never
will.
will.
See,
Find out what any
see,
group of
true
people will
activists
quietly
can
submit
repeat
to,
all
and
that,
they will,
y'all.
and you will have the exact limits of tyranny and injustice that will be imposed upon
We
them
started.
until met by words or blow or both.
That,
That's what
oh
But,
my,
the words of
oh
Frederick
my,
Douglass.
but
oh my.
during that time, right after then, Elaine had returned to Macon from Savannah State,
That's right.
and she got involved. And we was a younger generation. Now we old. I don't know what.
Right, right, right.
But Harold, what's the name of your book?
Fantasy
Oh, yeah.
Five, because it's like hitting the
Fantasy
lottery to
5.
get 5 black
Eh,
people on that city
Who,
council.
who was the first 5 black people elected?
The first 5 was Willie Hill, Vernon Colbert, Julius Vinson, um, Dolores Brooks,
Uh-huh.
and my man that sings real well,
Julius Vince.
Julius Vinson.
Julius Vincent.
And you know who the sixth man was?
Who?
Reverend Henry Ficklin.
Oh yeah, cause
That's right.
no, you left out Eddie
That's
Smith.
right.
Oh yeah,
And
I left
Eddie
out Eddie
Smith.
Smith.
was elected,
Yeah,
and then his church started growing so fast.
yeah.
He resigned so he could concentrate on Macedonia.
That's right. And he moved out of the district because he moved
Right.
over where near where we
Right.
are right now in the Cherokee Heights neighborhood. And so he did
He,
the honorable
he
thing.
moved out of the hood.
He moved out of
People,
that.
people know. People have to do that. You move out. You have to.
After, yeah.
And
You
then
have
when
to
he moved
leave
out,
the.
when
He
he
did the
moved
honorable
out,
thing.
Henry Ficklin ran and
Ran
won.
and won.
And then the next time election around, Elaine ran. Uh,
That's right.
It
against,
was 83.
Well, I think the
Yeah.
next time election came around, you had Gerald Harvey defeating
That-
Vernon Colbert,
Gerald Harvey
That's
beat
right.
Vernon Colbert.
and you had my sister on the school board, Bivens,
Thelma.
Thelma
Thelma,
Bivens,
Thelma beat
Still-
Julius Vincent.
Julius Vinson,
Right.
and
All of this is in this book.
and
This-
then
this
the
is
honorable,
true.
My.
the
Have you
honorable,
got your book? Have you got the book?
it's out in the car.
Oh, okay. Because
I-
we were gonna show, but y'all,
I'll get it
he's
to
gonna
you.
be at the Washington Memorial Library at 4 o'clock. We 4 o'clock.
Right.
We're gonna try and let him go. But this is so interesting. Miss Harvey, come on in so that we can see you on here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having
For
us.
being here. And thank you so much, Mr. Attorney, among all of your achievements. We want to thank both of you and express our appreciation to you. And let's work something out so that you can come back and we will have the entire time to talk about the book, the other books, and then some of the other things that you've done, because you were one of the ones to remove. Wasn't it you that removed something from, what was it you did? You fought a historic battle as an attorney.
That was Freaknik.
Oh, okay. We're gonna talk all that. Oh,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
just too much to talk
The last
about,
thing
and
is,
squeeze it.
they have been married how long?
Tomorrow, 43
Ah.
years.
43.
Tomorrow,
All
tomorrow
right.
morning, I'll wake up.
All right. Well, congratulations tomorrow early.
Early.
We just, how long were you married?
A long time.
40, wasn't it 42?
Right.
And David and I have been married 48 years.
Wonderful.
If y'all see him out there, tell him
Come on
his seat is been kept for him. Thank you
Anyway,
both
thank
so
you, man.
very much. And I'm going to
Thank you.
try, once I leave here, I'm going to try and come that way.
Okay.
All right. All right.
We'll
Thank
work
you.
something out.
All right. Thank you so much. And, hey, aren't y'all glad y'all tuned in? Let me recognize these folks who are here. Rashawn Shannon, that's Shannon Miller's son. And we want to welcome him. Put in the chat where you're living now, Rashawn. but that's our boy. Hildred Jones, um, and we have Faye Alexander, Patricia Booz, Kimberly Houston, yeah. All of those folks have tuned in on the Glory Live, but we have many, many other folks who are tuned in, who are listening, those who are on AM and FM, Herbert. And I see them in the grocery store, I see them at Walmart, I see them all over the place. And they tell me how much they enjoy the programs and the variety of guests. And I want to thank you for bringing him by here, because people needed to see that. And if they're interested in that history and that book talk and maybe getting the book, then they could go by the Washington Library at 4 o'clock, a little bit before, so you aren't stepping in while it's starting, while it's already started. But go by and sit in on and take part in that book talk by Harold Michael Harvey. Make a night out of the Unionville area. His brother was Gerald Harvey, is Gerald Harvey, who served a number of terms on the Macon City Council. Just a family. Mother, Elaine, that's a good name, isn't it? Retired educator, and an aunt. And I've forgotten what her work was, but I'm sure somebody will come on here and tell me what it was. But those were the days when you see people who were involved in the real struggle. That's what I call it, the real struggle, because we've let the struggle get away.
When the dogs were chasing you.
Oh, look, we were working in Reverend Hope's campaign. We were over here in Unionville late at night, and Henry Fickler and I were over there supporting Reverend Hope's candidacy for mayor, first black to run for mayor. Did very, very well, but the dogs were after us over there. We hopped some ditches, and see, we were young then. We could hop the
Right.
ditches. I wouldn't be hopping now. Somebody would have to come and remove me from one of them probably. But Herbert, thank you so much for coming in and for bringing him and his wife. That is just so, that is history itself. And we look forward to hearing the rest of it. Now,
I look forward to tomorrow that
tomorrow,
you
yes.
was how many times? When was you first elected?
I was first elected in 1983
And
to the Macon City Council.
and then you served on city council how long?
25 years.
25
Served
years.
25 years on the Macon City Council.
And then you got elected to the county commission.
Got elected to the county commission. And of course, those who supported consolidation also supported a whole lot of other stuff, y'all, including term limits.
Mhm.
So, as a result of the term limit provision in the charter, I could not serve but 3 terms. So, I am officially off, but you saw fit and you honored me by electing me with almost 12,000 votes, Herbert, with no opposition. 11,700. I'll give you the exact number because I was so flattered and so honored. I received 11,783 votes for the Macon Water Authority, and I don't take that lightly. And on tomorrow, you are cordially invited. If you've not received your invitation yet through text message or through email or on Facebook or whatever, you are cordially invited to meet us at the Douglas Theater, that iconic Black History facility in Macon, Georgia. Come a little bit before 11 because we will start at 11, where I will receive the oath of office to join the membership of the Macon Water Authority. After the ceremony will be presided over by none other than former water board chair Mr. Sam Hart, who is very, very pleased to be asked to come and to carry the program. It'll be a short program, and then the swearing in. My sorority sister, the Honorable Pam White Colbert, who is my Delta Soror, will administer the oath to me as I take my seat for District 1 on the water board. It will be followed by
You got food?
a delicious, yes, food.
Who's cooking
Excuse me. I'm, I'm blaming on the senator.
What kind of food they got?
Um,
I
we
like
are
food.
going to have delicious food. We will have a reception in the Douglas Annex immediately after the swearing in ceremony. And we'll get a chance to take pictures with all of our guests. And we'll also get a chance to chit chat and be entertained by Mr. Tyreek Moore, I believe is his name. Comes very highly recommended. And so that will be our day. And then you'll be free to leave and go about your way. But we want to thank you in advance for coming. If you if you have any questions about this event, please make contact with us. My cell phone number is 478-895-6750. Or you can go on Facebook to my Facebook page and you can post any questions that you have there. But we look forward to seeing you there. There will be elected officials, there will be ministers. We hope to have, and we do have, some of the newly elected people who will be joining our state legislature, and they will be there, and we will introduce them to you. So please come and be with us tomorrow, 11 a.m. at the historic Douglas Theater. They have opened their doors to us as we take the oath of office um, to join the water board. And Herbert, I do appreciate you because you've served on the water board. Uh, uh, Chairman Hart has served on there. The present chair is Gary Bechtel, and he has offered information to me. I've been really pleased with that. And then Desmond Brown, who is the only Black person serving on there now, I express appreciation to him as well. He helped us with this campaign to try and get Kamala Harris elected. He really, really worked hard and helped me with my campaign as well. So I look forward to joining him on the Macon Water Authority. And we will have some information sessions out there in the community in conjunction with other entities, other community organizations, where you'll have an opportunity to let us know what your concerns are concerning the water authority. But you just have no idea of how important water and maintaining clean water and an abundant supply of water. You have no idea how important that is. No, you have no idea. So we're going to make that information available to you and hope that this is information that you will want to have. So, Herbert, tell us what else is going on as far as this project 2025.
We have a real problem. First of all, the election, and I don't believe he lost.
I don't either.
Every time I looked on the television, I would see the large, huge crowds. I would see the large, huge crowds at Kamala's
Oh
events,
yeah.
and I would see people leaving Trump's events. Now that didn't make me stop working, but something about it with uh, Elon Musk and all that crowd in there, I can't prove it. I believe they cheated.
Oh, I believe so too. That many crooks together. And we need to be, I keep saying, people keep saying, oh, well, we got to have faith. I have faith. I have faith, but I believe in work as well. But I also believe that there are crooks among us, many of them, because I cannot believe, Herbert, that it could be possible for folks to elect somebody as evil as Donald Trump is. And others can't believe it either.
I think they cheated, you know. And I don't want to sound like I'm paranoid or anything like that, but the way it went down, with Kamala working as hard as she worked, if they didn't cheat, and it might be true, we got some low down folks that voted for this guy. And you see the guys he's trying to appoint and telling the
Yeah.
senators don't come, so he'll make
Yeah.
an appointment.
Yeah.
This whole thing is bad.
It is. It
But we need
is.
to vote more still. Uh, I think one of the keys is we sometime we got to get work with barbershops and beauty shops. That's the only place that black folks go to. They, when they want their hair fixed or whatever, they go to the barbershops and beauty
Mhm.
shops.
Mm.
Somehow we got to get through them or get somewhere together to try to get people more
Yeah.
involved.
Well, we don't start trying to get people to think about voting until the day before.
We gotta start early.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think that funds were spent appropriately throughout this country. So I think we kind of doomed ourselves, and to have a sister to work as hard as Kamala did, I don't care whether she's black or white or blue or green. That was immaterial. But we were around, some folks around talking about, she's not black. So what? Her mama was Indian. Her daddy was black. She was black. What's that movie? You're black. You're black. You're black. I'll think of it in a minute. But so that was immaterial. It should have made us prouder that she was able to carry out all of that work. And Trump is over there insulting people, talking about people eating cats and dogs, stealing folks' pets, eating cats and dogs. How in the world could you even justify paying any kind of attention to somebody like that?
I don't know, but you hear. I think she did enough to win, and I think all of the polls showed how close it was, and the later polls showed that she was in front.
Yeah.
All of that, and then she lose. All of you had people like LeBron James. You had what's the white girl?
Beyonce.
What's the
You had
Beyonce?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
All
You
yeah.
had all these Republicans that came out in favor of her. And all these things happened, and it's just come out in strongly supporting her, and she lost.
Yeah.
All of the
It,
key states, either we don't know how to campaign unless something's wrong.
something is wrong. It really is wrong. Our call-in number is 478-250-1444. We certainly do hope and invite you to two events. One at 4 this evening at the Washington Memorial Library, and then the other one is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the historic Douglas Theater. This afternoon, Mr. Harold Michael Harvey, who hails from Macon, Georgia, will be doing a book talk at Washington Memorial Library. And it's such an interesting topic. It talks about the folks who made it possible for us to be in position to elect Black folks
Mm-hmm.
in this community. And so It's just so interesting a topic. And it's one of our own who wrote it. That's his seventh book, he says. So, and he's a practicing attorney who's done some other things too during his career. We want to thank Herbert for inviting him to come on. This is the place to be if you want to know what's going on right here on Ask Elaine. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. The other event is tomorrow at 11 at the historic Douglas Theater. That's the place to be as well. You get close to your history. There was a black man who was hung somewhere and deposited, thrown um, uh, at the doorstep of the Douglas Theater. There's a historic marker there that I, along with some others, had to fight to get the marker even placed there at the Douglas Theater because there were people on a few years ago on the county commission who did not vote in favor of placing that marker there um, as a way of pinpointing the fact that there was a lynching and a black body was thrown in front
Yeah,
of the Douglas Theater.
you know,
So,
I returned to Macon in 1967 after getting out of the military. And later in 68, Elaine and I went to Macon College.
keep going, Herman.
but
Different age.
but I remember black folks being beat down by black policemen because black policemen could not
They couldn't
arrest
be
a white
white.
person.
That's right.
You could have the lowest person on the street. A black person couldn't arrest him. He could be cussing, he could be shooting, he could be urinating on the street, and a black person couldn't arrest him.
Right.
And
That's right.
The black policemen, they didn't have any benefits.
No, they did.
They and they couldn't do it. They couldn't arrest a white person.
Right.
I could imagine. I could see it. Called the black person that they little green boxes in different places where you could call people, call the office, police headquarters, and say, "Boss, could you send somebody down here? Because they got a white man out here and we can't arrest him." And they would come down there and he would be cussing, doing everything, and the black person could not arrest him.
Yeah.
He would have to get somebody else to arrest him.
Yeah.
And like Harold said, at the time, black folks didn't have almost any. You couldn't get elected to anything.
Right. Right.
And then they messed around there, and got Elaine Lucas elected. You got Dolores Brooks elected. You got Henry Ficklin elected. You got Eddie Smith elected. You got Julius Vincent elected. I'm talking about the pioneers at the first part of it. Had Gerald Harvey elected, Vernon Colbert. And the change started to happen in Macon.
Right. Right.
You could, I mean, and I know I'm old, but it doesn't seem like that just couldn't exist with all the years it existed.
I know it. It's a shame. And now part of our problem is we've gotten frustrated with the lack of action that we see in a lot of cases. And we feel like, it doesn't matter if we vote. Let's see, who else has joined us? Wade Horton has joined us. And Wade, I was down at City Hall last night and I didn't see you. You had to give an account of yourself. And he says that, good afternoon, we have always had term limits. If you lose, your term limited. And you're right, Wade. You're right. But with consolidation, we ended up with term limits. And it was done intentionally to make sure that certain black folks would only serve so long. They said, well, you might get past us on the the lines. We're going to draw these lines to make it as hard as possible for you to run for office. And we're going to do this. We're going to move the election to May. Former Mayor Ellis talked about this last week, that it makes a difference whether you vote in May or whether you vote in November. And he's right. And so they put a new May election, earlier election in place. And with those things, I said, well, we won't want to put in one more thing. We're going to put in term limits so that if they escape those other things that we have put in here, then they'll be term limited. So we'll get rid of them. Um, and so it's just one of those things where there was a wrong decision made, and the main reason for consolidation was to diminish black voting strength in this community. And when we don't vote, we add to um, the diminishing of black voting strength.
I'll tell you something, Elaine. I remember back then, uh, we used to call a mass meeting, and the church is full with people to try to get something done. You can put it on television and everything else now, and a lot of black folks still won't go.
That's true.
I,
That's true.
I don't know. It seems like there's no excitement, or they seem like back then young people was coming to the places, and right now somehow we've lost a lot. I don't know how do we get it back.
Yeah, and I don't know. It would be interesting for some of you who are listening if you just share with us your thoughts on what when did we lose our enthusiasm for freedom? Faye Alexander says that Elon Musk ugh, paid voters who voted for Trump $1 million. Yeah, he started a little lottery, which really wasn't a lottery, and gave folks $1 million. I've forgotten how many got the million. Why isn't that not illegal? To me, it seemed to me it was illegal. But it seems also that whatever Trump and his loyalists do after it's over, and if they come out on top, it's forgotten. This man is a rapist,
He's convicted.
convicted rapist. Has been told that he has to pay this lady, Eileen, what's her name? E. Carroll, whatever,
Right.
has to pay her millions of dollars. He's not paid it yet, but he just plays this waiting game. Um, Indicted up in Atlanta.
Hmm.
Um, the district attorney, and we need to talk about our district attorney too, because these scoundrels are starting to try and go after her again. The whole plan is, how dare we put these black folks in position to bring to court some of our folks? How dare this black woman uh, get an indictment, get indictments of all of these white folks? I think there was one black guy.
Yeah,
He sat up there looked stupid, and the little black woman that was on there, she never could get it together. But anyway, the whole thing was, how dare these black folks have the nerve to get indictments against white folks? And that is a problem that our local DA is, in my estimation, is about to start to encounter. They were not able to find anybody to run against her because she was such a strong candidate, had done so much to improve the DA's office, has gotten millions of dollars that she uses for a lot of these programs that are prevention programs, has a well run, efficient office, and they were not able to get anybody to come up with nerve enough to run against her. So she ran unopposed. Well, just the last day or so, we're starting to hear this stuff about she's got a low conviction rate. Well, when you got 13 murder cases and you end up with 60% of those that don't get convicted. I mean, what's your problem? Everybody's not guilty. So what I feel is they're starting to try and build a case for somebody to have enough nerve to jump up and oppose her.
Yeah, I say this all the time, and you've heard me say this all the time. One day we'll realize not everybody, but a lot of white people don't like us. They don't. If you go to their schools, they would go to another school. If you move in their neighborhoods, they would move out of your neighborhood.
Yeah,
Wherever you go, where you go in there, they move somewhere else.
yeah,
Uh, a lot of people, when they start integrating the proms and all those kind of things, uh, white people didn't want us there.
right.
Now there are some good people, but most of them, the way this vote looked, I mean, what did Trump say? And I know this is a good show. What did Trump say he's gonna grab women by?
Whatever he wanted to grab them by.
He was specific,
By the P.
right? And they heard it. If another person had said that, seemed like they hypnotized. Seemed like people. It seemed like he's been charged, he's been convicted, and people still love him. Now you think
I
about
think
that.
they love the fact that he represents white power. He represents the feeling that a lot of whites have, that were it not for us black folks, they would be somewhere, and that's illogical now. But what did Lyndon Johnson say? That if you could get folks thinking that way, thinking that there's somebody that's taking something from them, they'll be forever fighting against these people that they've been trained to think that that's the one they need to be fighting against. And Lyndon Johnson said you can pick their pockets all day long.
You have people voting against health care.
The healthcare, y'all wait, healthcare, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Um, um, this scoundrel has said that all of those things are on the table, and all of these people that he's nominating for these different cabinet positions, and RFK, Robert F. Kennedy,
Yeah.
has said that he wants the fluoride out of the water.
Right.
Fluoride is what keeps kids from getting cavities. It's in our waters, in our water system. He said that there's some shots, some immunizations that he wants to get rid of. He thinks that they do more harm than good. This is the person that he's nominating to be over the health of this country, and the health of our country impacts, or the lack thereof, impacts the health of the entire world, because nobody just stays in place. Now when they start messing with that Social Security that you worked all those years to get your little check, and for a lot of people that's all they have
Right.
to live off of. But Trump has said that all of that's on the table, all of it.
And you have black people, some black people, especially black men, that voted for Trump. I mean,
There's some people who have a problem with black women in leadership.
uh, and they go to the Bible and say, a woman don't supposed to be over a man.
And see, they can't bring that to me.
I'll tell you what you do.
They
There
don't
are
need to
churches
bring that to
There's
me.
churches here, right here in Macon.
You let me know so I can stay out of those.
If you go to speak there, they'll have a politician, they'll have some other people speaking that's done everything.
Let the man go up in the pulpit.
and have the woman preach.
The woman got to be on the floor. That's
No matter,
wrong.
they can't go up there. churches right here in Macon, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Woman had no business in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
But you could
I
take a
think some of them
politician.
have realized where the money comes from, who raises the money in the church. And so their good common sense won out over that other stuff that they were talking
But
about.
look here, they have it right here in Macon, Georgia.
You're right.
Women,
You're right.
when they have to speak from the side, and the men, black, white, drunk, whatever, former, anything, he said,
Yeah.
step right in front of the pulpit.
Yeah.
That's going on here.
Go right up
Men,
in that
a lot
pulpit.
of men believe that women should not be in a power position over them.
Right. Right. That's right. But even with that, the stats show that 90 plus percent of black women voted for Kamala Harris, and over 80 plus percent of black men voted for Kamala Harris. And of course, that's too many that voted for somebody else. A lot of them didn't even vote.
Right.
So that's just as bad as voting for Trump.
Well, they do it.
Yeah. Now, the stats also show that white men, the majority of white men voted for Trump, and a large percentage of white women voted for Trump. Now, when you need some reproductive health care, you got something that's no fault of your own that you've got to have, and the law says you can't have it. See, that's when people start changing their mind, when it's a matter of their life or death. But according to that vote, the majority of white men and white women who voted for Trump and said, that's okay if I die because I can't get reproductive care. And it's going to be brought home sooner rather than later, especially with these dangerous folks that he's appointing. They have to go through approval, but some of them he's gonna pull his tricks, and they're gonna be able to squeeze through probably without Congress people even voting on it.
Something is going wrong. People rather where they'll let people from Russian countries, communist countries, if the country is basically white, they'll let them in. But
Oh yeah,
if they are from Puerto Rico, they from Haiti,
black or
they
brown.
black or brown, they
Mm-hmm.
don't want them, and and
Mm-hmm.
and and, and they don't want them in.
Yeah.
They don't mind if they come from Scandinavia. They
Right.
don't mind if they come from
Right.
England, but they don't want them. They say these countries in Puerto Rico is what the term they use, a floating trash.
Yeah. That's what they said. Puerto Rico was a
And
floating
then
island
from
of
Haiti, they said
trash,
they
or
killing dogs, killing all these things,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
killing cats, eating them. They continue to do it, and the Puerto Ricans didn't turn out to vote very strong.
No, they didn't.
Do you know that a lot of the Haitians didn't turn out like that?
Right. Right.
You
It's
know,
a shame when you don't go and vote to protect your own rights. And that is why we have this tyrant who is scheduled to go into office in January at the inauguration for not a first time, but a second time. We want to welcome my sister, Nita. Um, yeah, she says a certain kind of people love Trump, and it's what he represents. Charlia Foster is with us. Cynthia Thursey has joined us. Um, if y'all want to call, our call-in number is 478-250-1444-444. We would love to hear what you have to say, or you can put it in the chat. But we're just so happy to have you on with us. Our very special guest today first special guest was none other than Mr. Harold Michael Harvey, who is an attorney, who's also a writer, an author, and he's doing a book talk at 4 this evening at Washington Memorial Library. I'm going to try to get by there after this program is over so I can hear about the book and possibly get a copy of it. He and his wife are here today for that book talk, and none other than Herbert Leroy Denard. Herbert, tell us about your medical scare.
Uh, I uh, went to the doctor to get a checkup, to do what they call it, exercise, to see was everything working right. And they gave me some medicine that's supposed to could show it up how your heart is working and how your everything is going on. And I passed out.
Mm.
In the process of all, next thing I know, I was out.
Mhm.
They had to call in the ambulance and everything else to get me back right. And then I went over to the medical center. They took me to the medical center, and and if you're going to have a heart attack, it's good to have it at a heart doctor's office. If you're going to have if you're
Well,
going to have
yeah,
a heart condition, it's good to be close to the medical center because you be out there by yourself.
yeah,
They can't
yeah.
bring you back around. And some people say it was a coincidence that it happened to me. And
But you don't care what kind of
I don't believe in
dense it
coincidence.
was. You just are happy that it happened where it did.
And
But
my
people got to watch, listen to their bodies. You got to know when there's something going on with you.
but my friend Elaine called me and told me that she had had a condition similar to that, and she's still kicking.
Yeah.
And so it gave me inspiration that I didn't that God wasn't ready for me yet.
Mhm.
He gave me a few more days, and so I'm going to try to do the best I can to help
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You need to be. Money doesn't matter when you die.
That's right. That's
Your
right.
car. Nobody say I'm about to die. Let me look at my car one more time. Let me look
Right.
at that Mercedes or Jaguar one more
Or
time.
let me take it
Or
and put it in
let me
here
look at. I
with
got some
me.
money here. Let me
Mm-mm.
count. Look at my checkbook one more time. I want to look at
No.
my checkbook. Who they want to see is their friends, their relatives, their neighbors. Who they want to see Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
that time comes, cars don't matter,
Yeah.
clothes don't matter, shoes don't matter. You want to live.
Yeah. That's right.
And so I'm
But you got to take care of yourself, and you got to listen to your body. And when things are off and not quite right, so you need to get on up and get out of there and either call the ambulance, have them come to you, or you go to them. Don't take a chance and think you're going to work through it. Just don't take a chance.
I got a
So
pacemaker on me,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm kicking, not quite as high,
he's
but I'm
he's,
still
he's
kicking.
hey, yeah, but you kick it.
And I thank the master.
Yes, yes. Y'all, thank you so very much. But look, one more time, an invitation tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock at the historic Douglas Theater. We'd love to see you there as we take the oath of office as the new commissioner, water board commissioner for District 1. And I am just so honored that you elected me to that position. But I need to see you there. You need to witness one more elected official, and there needs to be many, many more elected in this community. So, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we will see you. Thank you, Herbert, one more time. Thank you, and we're going to get on over to the Washington Library to hear.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 988.